Hi, everybody. My name is Zeb Wellborn. I'm the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. Today, I'm excited to be chatting with Dr. Tran. She is the owner of Inland Family Optometry. She's going to be talking to us a little bit about how the coronavirus has impacted her business here locally, and also share a little bit about how the chamber has helped support her and her business. So with that, Dr. Tran, I want to thank you for joining us today, and we'd love to hear about how the coronavirus has impacted your business.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Zeb, for the introduction. Like Zeb mentioned, I'm Dr. Queen Tran, and I own Inland Family Optometry. I've taken over the practice 3 years ago. The practice has been around for over 35 years. Since the last 3 years, I've tried to grow the practice and expand it and keep it busier than before. And in January, we're actually getting really busy. We're growing, and it was exciting for everyone. And I was actually in the process of hiring new people too. So it was a really good, it's just a good season for us. And then March hit, and then the coronavirus hit. So everything just kind of turned upside down and inside out for us. We were definitely affected by the pandemic. Since March 17, we got message from the CDC and the American Optometric Society, or Optometric Association, that we had to stop all routine eye exam and just cease anything that's not emergency. And so from then, our business just went dramatically declined since then, because routine eye exams are pretty much the big chunk of what we gross on, what we profit on. So since then, I just started seeing only emergency eye exams. The reason why I did that is because we want to make sure that we support our community hospitals and local care centers and urgent cares by seeing emergency eye exams, so that it doesn't keep those areas from getting flooded with people for COVID patients, of course. And so I was doing that for a couple of weeks, and then after that, we just started decreasing hours and so forth of our employees. And one of the hardest thing I have to say in this whole process is just how to handle my staff, employees. I have wonderful staff. We love them. They work very hard, especially January, when we're really growing and doing better in our business, and then everything kind of crashed. So it was just really hard to tell my employees that have worked so hard that I had to cut their hours and follow them. And in the beginning, it was very hard, because I think there was a lot of uncertainties, and that the coronavirus is still new. So I think a lot of my staff took it kind of almost personally, that I let them go, or I cut their hours because of their performance and so forth. So that was really hard. That was the biggest challenge.
Can you talk a little bit more, like specifically, business, like decline in revenue? I mean, how has that specifically dropped for you? Like, what's been the?
Well, we went from seeing about 14, 17 patients a day to just a few patients a day, and they were just emergency exam. So we were not able to bill insurance anymore. A lot of patients, we put, because of just keeping social distance and so forth, we didn't make much frame sales. We did have a lot of continents order, but so just the insurance and just not seeing exams and so forth. I looked at the revenue compared from last April, February to this year, and we dropped pretty much 90%. So that was heavy. It's for 2 months. So that's a huge impact on our performance and just keeping afloat during this time.
Have you been able to take advantage of any of those loan programs or those opportunities?
Yes, I have. I actually, that's actually been my part-time, almost full-time job this past month. I know people call me crazy, but I actually applied to over 12 financial institute. The reason why is because in the beginning, I was one of the first to apply April 3rd, the minute that the clock set and they took application. I applied to my bank, which is a large bank. And unfortunately, I did not hear much from them, and I couldn't apply and so forth. And then a week later, I didn't want to take any risk, so I applied to a few more. But the hard part was most of the banks at that time only took their clients. So I just felt I was out of luck. And then the second time around, I applied to a lot of the tech companies and so forth, and crossing my fingers that hoping something would go through. And then I've looked at grants and so forth. We did get one grant, so we're very grateful. And but yes, I've just applied everywhere, just trying to seek as much help as we can.
What is the grant that you got, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, well, actually, I have to thank you, thank the Chino Chamber of Commerce because it's actually the U.S. Chamber that I got the grant from,
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't know, I didn't know about it until I got the email from you, from the chambers about this grant and so forth. So that talk when the grant was available, I applied and so forth. I spent 5.5. The grant's supposed to be the application's supposed to be 3-4 minutes, but I spent 5.5 hours on it
Oh
because
my
it kept
gosh.
crashing. But it was worth it, and I'm grateful. And a lot of my colleagues didn't know about it. And I thought everyone knew about it. So I'm grateful that the chamber helped me with that.
No, awesome. And that was something that we were going to talk about is how has the chamber helped support your business? That's a great testimonial. So thank you. And I'm really glad that we could help you out in that front. Um, you had some thoughts about how the chambers help support you and your business. I'd love to hear that as
Yeah.
well.
First, I mentioned the grant, just having resources, not just the grant, but I read all the emails that the chamber sent us and just the resources out there and communities and who we can connect with and network and so forth. So that's been helpful, just resources and how, as a small business owner, how do we survive? How do we, just advice and so forth, and then inviting us to just different webinars and so forth too. That's been helpful. I've attended the last a few chamber morning meetings, the weekly meetings, and that's been helpful for me because I feel like it's more kind of like a more support group at this point. It's not before it was more like a business support group, but now it's a more support group because I feel like I'm not alone in this. Everyone else is kind of all in this together. I feel like a tighter sense of community within the chamber because we're all kind of struggling and helping each other. And then those businesses are actually doing okay, are helping other businesses that are not doing okay. So just really feel a deep sense of family, and I'm really grateful for that.
Oh no, I love to hear that. And just for everybody's edification on this, is we do meet every Wednesday morning from 7:45 to 9. We call it Business Breakfast. We'll have some presenters speak about some business-related topic. So that's every Wednesday. And we just started doing a Chino Valley Leaders webinar every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30. So those are the two things we're talking about there. I want to go back to a little bit about what you mentioned about the challenge in terms of telling your employees that you had to make those changes. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Just talking about the feelings or the emotions that you're
Yes.
experiencing as that's going on.
Yes, of course. Of course. Well, at this point, I'm sure everyone is aware of COVID, and there's a lot of extreme sides to it and so forth that everyone feels. But at that time, the first time I mentioned that we probably cut hours and so forth was probably mid March or the first week of March, because we're getting messages and from the American Optometric Association and the CDC and so forth. So at that time, I think maybe more than half my staff were kind of, I wouldn't say denial, but just kind of, oh, this is just another flu. Oh, it's fine. We'll get over it, so forth. And at that point, we're actually really busy still. We're still scheduling appointments and so forth. We're booked about 2 weeks in advance and so forth. So it was great. And then just when the governor said, okay, everyone stay home now on, I think mid-March, that was hard. So I had to tell everyone, hey guys, we gotta stop what we're doing and so forth. And so I think the hard part was that because it came from me, some of my staff took it as if it's the performance was it was because of their fault and so forth. So I had to individually talk to them, see where they're from, see how they're doing, to kind of get a sense of feel where they're at, their stance on COVID and so forth, because it was still new to all of us and it was just so sudden. And and even myself and even our leaders and governors and chambers, while new to this, we're just kind of going day by day, kind of just hearing updates because everything changes every day. So the hard part was just kind of having my staff take it personally.
Yeah, no, and I totally understand that. And how about today? Like, what is that? How was that experience today? So I know that when you first started, you're facing that challenges. I mean, has there been any kind of change or difference in terms of how you feel today
Yes.
in terms of
So
handling your employees?
yes. So since the middle of March, of course, we've seen cases and the medias, and we see the scale go up, and a lot of deaths and so forth. And even myself, knowing a lot of having personal family members and friends and so forth who passed away, and so I think the realities has hit most of us, and because of that, my staff they're not taking it personally. And they actually thanked me. One of my staff thanked me for kind of just keeping the office safe and letting them go early, just be home with their family. I think at that time, their salary and the unemployment was still questionable because I
Right.
know it's getting flooded with unemployment. But they all unfortunately got their unemployment, checks and so forth, and they're being taken care of. So I'm grateful for that. And but we are planning to open in 2 weeks again, March 18. So not March, May 18. So we're going to slowly open, just really limit number of patients a day and keeping social distance and taking very careful measures and so forth. But I let them know, and they're excited to come back again. So I'm grateful.
Okay, perfect. And then where are you located?
We're located in Chino, right next to Big Five and Chuck E. Cheese on Philadelphia and Central. So it's next. We used to tell patients it's next to the gas station and Chuck E. Cheese. So people, I guess, know where Chuck E. Cheese is, and so it's almost. I think it's kind of heart of. To me, it's in the heart of Chino. So it's really busy intersection.
Well, perfect. Well, Dr. Tran, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story about how coronavirus has impacted you and your business, and sharing that with our chamber members. This is also a good opportunity to connect with each other. So I'd encourage you, if you have any kind of interest, to definitely reach out to Dr. Tran and see if she can help you out with anything. So thank you, and hope you have a great rest of the week.
Thank you so much.